Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request. This time for Lucas. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. It could be pretty much any type of video. Commentary, review, re-review, what have you. And Lucas here wanted me to look into Journey to the Mysterious Island that came out in 2012. Now, I've seen the film once before, and it's one of those films, kind of like the first one with Brendan Fraser, Journey to the Center of the Earth. That's like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't really like it, but it's kind of lighthearted fluff that's forgettable, that I had a couple of, fun little moments here and there. It's short enough. I think if you take out the end credits, it's like less than an hour and 30. The cast, for the most part, is likable enough, but at the same time, it's fairly forgettable as well. In one ear, out the other type of entertainment. It doesn't make me mad, but there's a lot of CG. This is one of those films made for 3D, so there are moments where stuff's not too many, but there's stuff once in a while going at the screen because you're supposed to sit in the theater and go, whoa, with your 3D glasses. Not all the jokes work. The plot is kind of there. You're not really going into this for the characters in terms of any depth. It's just for escapism entertainment. And it's just, again, lighthearted fluff that was easy to digest, but at the same time forgettable. Because you got Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, which I don't hate the guy. I don't. It's just, it comes to a point where you see him like everywhere, and you just, how can I miss you if you don't go away type of syndrome. And yeah, you say, well, he plays the same or similar type of character each time, but I mean, I just say that for a lot of actors. I mean, the early Steven Seagal, Above the Law, Out for Justice, The Glimmer Man, Under Siege. You just say they were almost the same character, but I enjoyed each of those movies. And there's other action stars as well. And Dwayne, he does have, in my opinion, a likable charm to him that made him work well as a wrestler. Now, granted, there's not a whole lot of memorable, like, he's fine, I guess is what I'm getting at. It's nothing fantastic or wonderful. He's just fine in the role. I wasn't too bothered with him. Again, he's giving some kind of lame humor, one I'll dip with, that involves his pecs, so to speak. That was really only there, one for a 3D effect, which I'll get to later. But I thought he was fine in the movie. Michael Caine, he's in the film. It's always great to see him in there. He looks like he was having a bit of fun, so that was cool to see. Josh Hutcherson, who I remember in films like Cythera, he was in the first one with Brendan Fraser. He comes back. He's the only cast member to come back. I don't know why Brendan Fraser was not in this. I don't know if it's because maybe Brendan wanted the director of the first film to do it, and it didn't, and then it kind of went away. Or maybe Brendan was not looked at as a box office attraction anymore after flops like Furry Vengeance and, what was it, Monty Bone, Dudley Do Right. Like, he was having quite a few films flopping. So maybe they'd go, well, let's try to get someone who seems to be an up-and-coming star, like The Rock. Which, funny enough, those two were in the Mummy Returns. But I don't know the exact details as why Brendan Fraser did not come back. But it's too bad that he's not in it. Luis Guzmán, great character actor, which is wonderful to see him in movies. He's, I thought, one of the fun aspects of the movie. The plot of the film, before I go on, is Josh Hutcherson, he's being chased by cops which has him landing in someone's swimming pool, and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, coming in, who is the new stepdad to Josh. He calms down the cops to make sure he doesn't get arrested, and of course the mom is angry. And the mom, I believe, is played by a different actress from the one who was in the first one. But Dwayne, you tell that he's not being too hard on the Josh Hutcherson character. He's being understanding. He's like, listen, this is a dumb thing that you did, but okay, what's this about? Josh had broke into this satellite facility because of this code. We're trying to find out that code was from his long-lost, missing grandfather. The Rock's character used to be in the Navy. He was a code breaker. How convenient. That happened to be the case. So he's able to break the code, and it involves these 3 books, whether it be Gulliver's Travels or Treasure Island, etc. And lo and behold, it seems like they were on the same island, and able to find what coordinates where that island is. At first, he's like, well, no, come on, I can't, kid. I can't take you to this island. You're grounded. Your mom would not like it. But ultimately, he sees how important this is, and that is to find his missing grandfather. So ultimately, The Rock relents and does it. They get to the island. They try to find a pilot. And they find Luis Guzmán and his daughter. And they take him out there. The 4 get in the midst of a cyclone. They spin around. And they crash on the island. And on the island, it's pretty much them going from one special effect to the other. And, like I said, at least it goes at a fast enough pace that I never really found it boring. It's not memorable, it's not anything close to a classic, but it's like, it is what it is. And the spoilers, some of the stuff that happens on the island is the shape of animals have shifted, so the elephants are like very tiny and mini, while the spiders or bees or birds are a lot bigger. So anything that's small is big, anything that's big is small. So there you go there. They get chased by this giant lizard. At one point, they realize that the island is ready to disrupt and sink in a volcanic eruption. So they need to find Captain Nemo's Nautilus and find the location of that. At one point, they're riding giant bees, and they're chased by birds, and if they get the hell away from them. You have finale where they gotta start the Nautilus, and in order to do so, they use this giant electric eel to do so. So these little series of events to showcase all the different sizes of animals and special effects and so forth. Like I say, it's short enough and it's paced well enough that I didn't really get bored with it. But it's kind of all filling, but no... How do I put it? It's like, okay, it's dessert without the meal. There's nothing to hold on to that you'll talk about, think about the next day or the next day after. It's just kind of there. That's what I mean. It's just kind of there where it's like, it is what it is. The music kind of sits there. The score, didn't love it, didn't hate it. Again, The Rock, I thought was fine in this. He's, for the most part, pretty straightforward. And once in a while, he gets like a goofy bit of humor. Like, of course, Josh falls in love with Luis Guzmán's daughter. And The Rock says you should go and talk to her. Do one of these, and he does his pecs as if he's Terry Crews. And he calls it the peck of love. The peck pop of love. You pop your pecs. Come on, throw a berry on it. Come on, throw a berry on it. And then Louis Drew's was like, oh, I'll do it. And throwing in, that's where you get a lot of, like, some of them going up to the camera for the 3D and stuff. And, yeah, it's one of those things that kind of sitting there going, yeah, I don't know. Just not really the funniest bit of business. And amongst that, they find Michael Caine, who helps them against the giant lizard thing. He has a trap. And I said, Michael Caine, he's jovial. He's got a smile on his face. He's a great actor. He looks like he's having fun in the movie. They have a little bit of heart where you find out a bit of The Rock's character, and he didn't grow up with a father. Because he sings this song, What a Wonderful World. And Josh is asking about his dad, and, hey, what do you mean by when you said this? Oh, I don't know. He left when I was 8. And you kind of see Michael Caine looking at him, because he was giving the guy a hard time before. Oh, you're not one of us, and you're the stepdad. But after that, he changes his ways. And I thought that was kind of a nice, sweet bit of business for the character. I did Luis Guzmán. Just him being there is a joy, because I love his attitude, his personality. I don't know why, it's just this one random bit where they find the Sanskrit, this language. But Luis Guzmán looks at it and goes, man, this guy has some terrible handwriting. I don't know why, it's not meant to be a joke, but just something about the way Luis Guzmán said that did make me laugh. So I thought that was kind of fun. They try to put other bits of comedy in there, like The Rock trying to be the tough guy, and I'm going to give you a thunder cookie. That's what he literally says. Punches the lizard, but it does nothing. So okay, he's making a bit of fun of himself. I can appreciate that. Wasn't that hilarious of a joke, but I can appreciate it. You know, the special effects, a lot of CG of that time period, and it is what it is. I've seen better. I've seen much, much worse. I think it's serviceable, more than serviceable for this kind of movie. Again, with this time period. But like I said, it's one of those films that I'm watching, and I'm like, okay. The movie doesn't take too long to get started. It feels like within 15 minutes we're on the first island where they meet Luis Guzmán, and it doesn't lollygag around. There's not a lot of fat on it. So it's a fairly lean, fast-paced movie. Like I said, I do miss Brendan Fraser being in it. But yeah, I don't think The Rock did a bad job. I think this film made a little bit of money. It made at least over $100 million in the U.S. and I think at least over $200 million worldwide. So it didn't do a bad job or anything. But yeah, it's one of those things where they said it didn't. It's not something I'm gonna remember days on end. Yeah, it's interesting. They get the Nautilus in there via the Captain Nemo stuff. Spoiler alert, I did like the idea that after they escape the island, spoiler alert, they escape. Luis Guzmán took the Nautilus and decided to do a tour, like be a tour guide with it, where he has visitors and they come in and he takes them on this underwater journey and makes money off it. So again, the fact he gives these Nautilus tours, I thought that was kind of a funny idea. They did set itself up for a sequel, because Michael Caine comes back and I got a present for you, and it's a book called From the Earth to the Moon. And the camera even pans up through the Earth and into space and to the moon. So I guess it didn't it wasn't that much of a blockbuster, as in, I think it cost 60 to 80 million and only made 100 million in the US, and then I think another overseas. So I guess it wasn't too much of a blockbuster hit to serve, get that sequel in. That maybe there'd be a possibility, but just never came about. Maybe they saw, well, if it made this amount of money, that means it wasn't like a humongous hunger for it. Enough to get over 100 million, but unless you did for a much cheaper budget, maybe it did not Star Wars quality of box office. So yeah, I mean, did I need to hear The Rock singing "What a Wonderful World"? Yeah. Again, the cast, I think for the most part, was fine. This is one of those films that I've just seen so many worse movies, even in the past 5 years, that I just go, if this is like background noise, it's harmless. If you like those kind of adventure films where it's just some random stuff happening for less than 90 minutes and good chunk of CGI is used, that is efficient enough. Although I will say that the stuff that I noticed the most that did not hold up well is when it's humans doing stunts, and you can tell they replaced it with a CG manipulation. And the two I think of is with Josh Hutcherson. One is when the lizard is chasing him and like steps in a log and he flies up and is like trying to eat him and misses, and then you see Josh kind of flip and land on the ground. Another is when he's being chased by the bird and he's on a bee. He crashes and you see the body in slow motion going on its side, and I swear his back or something hits a log, and he yells, not because it's bad, but because like his leg is hurt, broken, whatever it was. And that looked awkward. Like I say, those are moments that did look fairly awkward to me. It's directed by Brad Peyton, who worked with The Rock again in San Andreas and Rampage. And San Andreas, I honestly thought was a bit more boring than this one. Rampage, I mean, that one I don't know about. It's like, the whole gorilla giving the middle finger to The Rock, and that's like a running gag. I'm like, are you kidding me, man? Plus, there's a bit of a sore spot because there's this subscriber I had who seemed like a very nice guy. And I remember he got mad because he had asked if I was going to see Rampage. And I'd go, a movie where an albino gorilla gives The Rock the middle finger like 2 or 3 times? No thanks. And that's exactly what I typed. And he got mad and angry and upset, saying that I did this and I did that. I'm like, I just answered your question. But, it is what it is. So anytime I think of that film, I always think of that, which was not the best experience. So maybe that tarnishes that film even more for me. I know it's unfair, but I'm just being honest. But this film in itself, it's serviceable family fare, but nothing that I would like. It's serviceable, harmless, but at the same time, nothing I would chalk up to any type of memorable classic either. Meh. I would say meh. And hey, maybe, well, you're being too kind on it. Maybe I am, but again, I've seen much worse, and much worse rock. Black Adam, I thought was worse than this. The Jumanji sequels made me more mad than this one. Again, maybe because it was nice to see Michael Caine, Luis Guzmán, so I like the supporting cast. And maybe because of his short running time, so it seemed like it clipped at a better pace. Maybe because it didn't have people like Kevin Hart and stuff being unfunny, or just, hey, Jack Black is a woman, so let's run that joke into the ground 85 times. Because that's the, not just the joke, but that's the character. Oh, okay. I didn't think it was funny at all. This was, again, it was harmless. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.